Well, hello there, and welcome to this live rebroadcast of the Gypsy broadcast training team that we took to Romania last week. This broadcast is done primarily so that I can play with Spreaker just a little bit, and Spreaker is the program that we are using to train broadcasters around the world to use internet broadcasting. And I think you'll enjoy this little insight into the broadcast team that went, and I hope that you will leave comments along the way. While the program is live, we can chat with each other, so just chat us up a little bit, okay?
My name is Rick Russell.
And I am here in Nuș-Fălău, Romania, with three very, very good friends who have come with me to Romania to help teach gypsies how to make radio programs. And I have Holly Merriweather. Hi, Holly.
Hello, Rick.
You enjoying your time in Romania so far?
Yes, we love it. We absolutely love it. Enjoy the people and everything that we've experienced so far.
Mm-hmm. Brian Reisner. Now, Brian, you've been to Romania before and are planning to come back.
Yes, that's correct. I have. This is my fourth trip to Romania, and making my fifth trip in July when we're going to move to be full-time missionaries.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Maddie Spencer. Maddie, you're 23 years old, so you're the young kid on the block here.
Yes.
And you came to Romania for a very specific purpose. What are you doing here?
Yes. Well, I want to get pictures of the people, and I want to write the stories of the missionaries for people back home.
And why are you doing that?
I'm doing that, so that people can support the missionaries and support the people that are here and continue giving funds to further the ministry.
Yeah, and you work with the BMA Missions Department.
I do.
And
yes.
that is your job with the Missions Department, isn't
Yes.
it? Now, Holly, your job is very similar with LIFEWORD.
Yes, I'm called Director of Church Connections, but that just means that I not only connect with people in churches, which are our supporters, but also let them know what's going on, because they need to know what's going on abroad and the awesome things that these guys are doing. LIFEWORD people and BMA Missions people as well. It's just too much to keep inside and to keep for myself. I want everybody to know about it.
You know, I have always loved talking with Holly because Holly is she is the girl who grew up in BMA churches all of her life. Actually, one church, Antioch Baptist Church in Conway, Arkansas. And you grew up all of your life thinking that missionaries were actually stars.
Yes, I did. Yes. They don't like me to call them that, celebrities and stars, but to me and to my family, they are the real stars. They are the real celebrities.
Yeah.
The real celebrities are not in Hollywood. They're around the world doing what God's called them to do and doing it very well.
Yeah.
Doing it sacrificially.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to know about the things
Exactly.
that they do.
Exactly. You might be able to tell as you listen to us that we are right in front of a busy road.
Yes.
And, all of that noise just reminds us that, man, there are lots of people around here. There are a lot of people in Romania. And there is one particular people group in Romania that we have a very, very avid interest in, and that is the Gypsy people. Brian, tell me a little bit about what you've learned about Gypsies since you've been in Romania.
Well, there are several things I've learned. First, just doing a little bit of history, I've learned that the Gypsies came from North India. They traveled over 1,400 years ago into Europe, and they actually spoke Hindi language, and they migrated a lot of them into Romania. And since I've been here, I've realized that all Gypsies have something in common. They're not liked by most Romanians.
Yeah.
They are they're actually looked down upon. And a lot of the gypsies, especially the kids, don't get very much attention, positive attention from anyone, just negative attention.
Right.
So since we've been here, just being able to love on them and hug on them and play with them has been a real pleasure.
Yeah. And Maddie, you have a really, really special reason for wanting to be here. What's that?
Well, I'm part Romanian Gypsy. My family came
Wow.
over from Romania several generations ago, and my grandma is full-blooded Romanian Gypsy, and so I grew up hearing stories and learning about the culture, and I'm just so glad to be able to finally get to visit my people group.
Yeah, that is cool. What kind of response did you receive from the gypsies whenever they found out that you were one of them?
Well, they seemed excited, and they said I was one of them, so that makes me feel really good.
And I seem to recall that a few of the young men kind of called you into a special conference to see if you might be willing to become a full-time member of the local gypsy clan here.
Well, I just made some new friends, that's all.
Good way to put it.
Well, this has been really exciting for me too. I've been to Romania many times, and been to this place, this church, many times. But this is very, very special time for me because what we are doing with the brothers here is we are teaching them, anybody who has a smartphone, we are teaching them how to create radio programs. And so this is just a really exciting time for me, and I'm glad that you guys could all share it with me.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
And we're glad you asked us to come.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Sure.
That little comment there at the end, whenever Holly said, "We're glad that you asked us to come," is a little inside joke because I had this trip scheduled for a couple of months, and then I called Brian whenever I found out that he was in a place where he had just become elected as the BMA's brand new missionary to Romania, and he's scheduled to be on the field this coming summer. And so I thought he might enjoy being along and seeing a part of Romania that he had not seen before, which, of course, was the area up around Shimliu-Savania and Nuș-Fălau, where we were doing that training. And I also knew that he had had a little bit of contact with the gypsies, but not nearly as much as I personally felt that he should have. So I invited him to come along, and while he was there last week, the Lord just gave him a real burden for including the gypsies in his ministry as he goes to Romania to start new churches. And so what he's going to be doing is looking for people who have a heart for the gypsies, or at least have a heart to be open to reaching out to the gypsies. And I will tell you that being a Romanian does not mean that you automatically have a heart for gypsy people, because one thing that we have learned over the years is that in Romania, Hungary, different places throughout Europe and Eastern Europe, the gypsies are not really considered to be people that you like to hang around with. In fact, I tell a story about visiting a monastery in Romania. And as we were visiting, the Mother Superior came alongside, and she was telling us a little bit about the monastery and the history. And she asked me, with a group of several Americans, she said, why are you here? And I said, well, we came to share the gospel with the gypsies. And she looked at me with kind of an incredulous look, and she said, you like them? And that seemed to be a real strange response to me for supposedly a Christian lady, not only a Christian lady, but a person who is in a very high and responsible ministry position, and yet she was just amazed that we had come all the way from Europe, or all the way from America, to share the gospel with gypsies, because she lives among the gypsies, and evidently from her response, she feels that they're simply not worth sharing the gospel with. And that to me is just an amazing thing, but it's very typical of the way that Romanians feel about gypsies. And that is, they don't like them. They don't like them at all. And the less they have to do with them, the better they like it. In fact, I've told this to a number of people because I've seen racism here in America, and I've seen racism around the world in lots of different places, not just in Romania. But I will tell you from my personal experience that gypsies in most European countries are discriminated against, looked down upon, hated far more than any racism that I have ever seen in the United States. And so it's kind of an eye-opening experience. I'm glad you were along with us. My name is Rick Russell, and you've been listening to this special live rebroadcast of the interview that I've done with the rest of our traveling team last week. We just got back a week ago today from Romania, and I'll tell you that LifeWord is doing everything it can to reach out to these gypsy people. And it really has been kind of an amazing ride over the past 10 years or so. That was when I first went to Romania and first had my experience with European gypsies. And from the very beginning, I realized that here was a people group that LifeWord had the opportunity to reach out to and to share Christ with. And one thing that we have discovered over the years, and LifeWord is a ministry that's 55 years old at this point, and anytime we have the opportunity to put the gospel in a language that's never had the gospel before, or to give an unreached people group like this an opportunity to reach out and touch their fellow countrymen with the gospel, we are just thrilled to be able to do that. And it's been just extremely effective. So, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here. My name is Rick Russell, and you've been listening to LifeWord.